What's going on, guys? It's Ted. This is Nerd Immersion. Sorry for the delay on the start of this It Builds character. Real life sometimes just gets in the way of the best laid streaming plans. Also, please let me know if you can still hear me well and I'm not out-shouted by the audio of the background music. For whatever reason, my OBS has been immediately removing all of my sources, both audio and microphone, sound and microphone. So I've had to re-update them every time. So I think I've got it right where it used to be, but please keep me informed if that's not the case, and then I will adjust. So this is It Builds Character. What is It Builds Character? That is a weekly show. Primarily weekly, though, as I've said before, if one show has to suffer at the hands of real life, it's usually It Builds Character because it's just me. But I take a suggestion from you guys in the chat. Can hear you not hearing music. There's a bit of squeaking noise in the back, so that may be the music. Okay. Alright. So you hear the music now, maybe? I turned it up a little bit, but I'm not sure which one's high enough. Okay, I just want to make sure it's there so it's not just me, because I can hear it fine in my headphones. But anyway, like I was saying, also hello out there in chat land. We got a whole bunch of you apparently here in chat with us, so welcome. If you're new to It Builds Character, stay tuned for a quick refresher on what it is. So I build characters here as suggested by you, the fans, whether they be thrown out in the Twitch chat right now or throughout the episode, on social media, and things like that. And I will take your suggestions, and I will do my best to replicate them as a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons character. How do I do that? Well, I try to keep them all consistent, and in doing so, I build them all at 12th level. I build them all with standard array stats, which is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And I try to build them using published sources or Unearthed Arcana, and I only use Unearthed Arcana in the case when it is something that fits that has not yet been put into a published source. Like, if an Unearthed Arcana version of it exists and a newer published version does, I go with that one. And minimal amounts of homebrew. And I say minimal amounts because sometimes characters just wholly require you to do some form of homebrew because they don't fit into the typical what exists in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Where I do a lot of homebrewing typically comes in the form of magic items, because that I feel I can build the best myself to make them balanced, but also make them fit and do what they need to do to make that character. So that's my little primer on what It Builds Character is. I will also throw it out there that we do have 2 sponsors here in the Nerd Immersion land. That is Initiative Coffee Company, which is the coffee that I'm drinking right now. If you'd like to pick up some of the best coffee I've ever had in my life, made by gamers for gamers, and sometimes, depending on the blend you pick, supporting a good cause in the form of a charity, you can use my coupon code that you see down there. Whoa! What is going on, Ash? Thank you so much. I don't have any. I'm gonna jump over here because that's where all of my pop-up notifications were. Wow, thank you so much for the gift of the subs. That's amazing. So, anyway, that just kind of threw me off guard there. But like I was saying, you can get Initiative Coffee Company at a $2 discount here with our coupon code, and Elderwood Academy provides the gaming products. You can't actually see them here because they're in the other room, and I don't need dice to do what I'm doing. But that's cool, and that's a way to help support the channel as well. Something that I haven't been doing as much in my videos, and I should be doing it more, is I do stream here on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Sundays evening, all at around 8 or 9 p.m. So if you'd like to check out, obviously if you haven't subscribed to the channel or follow the channel here, be sure to do so to stay up to date for when we go live. We do rebroadcast pretty frequently, so if you miss an episode, you can usually catch it on a rerun at some point. And if you want to be up to date, at least currently, on everything Eberron related, go over to the YouTube channel. I've been posting constant videos about Eberron and all the news that's been coming out. So that, I'd say that's a pretty good intro here. So who are we building today? We're building Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. Again, one of the very early animes that I came to know, because I, probably like so many others of you, at least that are around my age, you started watching anime with Toonami on Cartoon Network from that like 4 to 7 hour block at night. And it probably started with Sailor Moon, and then was Dragon Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, maybe throw in some Zoids possibly in there as well, depending on when you were watching. So one of the shows that I watched pretty frequently was this show called Yu Yu Hakusho. And the main character's name is Yusuke, and that is who we're going to be building today. So what I do is I'm going to jump over here to D&D Beyond. As you can see, I've already started to build the character here. I just basically put the name in, and now we're kind of at the human screen, as Yusuke is primarily, I'm going to say, a human. You could argue that there's some demon infusion there, but we're just going to build him as a human. Oh, and I'm building an anime character. So, as I say with all people that I know, whenever I'm building an anime character, one, take it with a grain of salt, because depending on where you are, a protagonist in any anime is usually the most ridiculous, most overpowered character almost ever, and is usually, should have a 20 in every stat, should be level 20 in multiple classes, and has abilities that only the highest tier characters in any game could even wish to have. So that being said, we're going to try to build Yusuke at level 12. And I didn't watch the entirety of Yu Yu Hakusho. I know it'll probably continue for a lot more versus how long it was on Cartoon Network. So looking at the arcs of the show, I think the one that I remember watching to the end was the Dark Tournament saga. So that was, I don't know, like 4 or 5 arcs into the story. And yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho was pretty stable in growth until the Dark Tournament. Yeah, Dark Tournament is about where I stopped watching. So that, I'm not going to build him past that point. So I guess if we go into a little bit of background about Yu Yu Hakusho, so we can talk about, and feel free, obviously, as I always say, if you're in the chat, feel free to comment and jump out. Yeah, that was probably, honestly, Endless. It was probably a similar situation. They couldn't get the translations over here from Funimation or whatever, so that may be where it sort of just started to become infrequent on a regular picking it up, so that might be why. So, feel free to jump into the chat, and you can feel free to lurk, right? We love lurkers here in Nerd Immersion. Everybody loves a good lurker. But if you want to comment and you know stuff about Yu Yu Hakusho and you want to correct me or have a conversation about what you think I'm doing is good or wrong, let's make that decision as we go here. So, the story goes, and I'm paraphrasing here because I actually legitimately wanted to rewatch as much as the anime as possible, but I did not have the time to do so. So, what I remember was Yusuke was he's like a 14-year-old kid in high school. He was kind of a jerk, got into fights a lot. He had one good friend named Kiko, I forget what her name was, and he fought this guy named Kuwabara, who was like this other bully type guy, and they used to fight each other all the time in school. And basically, a little kid was going in front of a car was driving and was going to hit a little kid, and Yusuke sacrificed himself, jumped in front of the car to push the kid out of the way. And because he died, the kid wasn't going to die, though, and he would have been okay. But since Yusuke, basically, they didn't have a place for him in the afterlife kind of thing, so they offered him the ability to go back. And he decided not to, and then eventually he did decide to come back to Earth to be alive again. It was basically, he was at his wake, and a bunch of people were, I think, like talking to his mom or consoling his mom, so he decided to come back. And in doing so, he became a spirit detective, basically. So he was training with a woman named Genkai, and I remember there was something about having an egg, and if he hatched the egg and it hatched into something evil, it would devour him. And if it hatched into something good, then it was for like the forces of good. But basically, he trained with this woman Genkai to hone his abilities to become a this spirit detective, a demon hunter, bringing down the forces of evil. And in doing so, he unlocked different abilities. And his primary ability that he had, his number one thing that he used, was a move called Spirit Gun, where he would take his finger and he would hold his hand like this, and he'd yell, "Spirit Gun!" and it would shoot a beam of energy out of his finger, like a bullet, basically, and he would kill the demons with the Spirit Gun. Then, later on, he unlocked an ability that he called Shotgun, which he very clearly would just yell, "Shotgun!" and it would show his hands, like, punching a lot, like this, in, like, a white fade to black kind of screen, and it would be, like, a wide-range shotgun-type blast. And then he also had, oh, you wish I had, at some point I had Spirit Gun? Yeah, everybody wishes that. The amount of times I wish I could go Super Saiyan, are you kidding me? Hell, I'd even take a Sailor Moon Magical Girl transformation. I would have loved having that show when I was a kid. But he also had Spirit Gun Barrage. Basically, Yusuke was a ranged fighter when it came to his kind of spirit-based abilities. And he would do all sorts of gun-based attacks. And he could do all different other kinds of things as well. He was an anime protagonist, so that means super fast, super strong, super durable, super awareness, super stamina. I remember before the Dark Tournament Saga, he had fought with this one, I want to say he was a demon, Hiei, who was this kind of like really fast, ice-based kind of character, and they were showing off before they got onto like basically the bus to go to the Dark Tournament, and they did like that cool like thing where they fight so fast that people can't track it. And they're like, bah, 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 because they did all the training. So, and I don't know if he had any other abilities. I'm sure he did. I think he could channel spirit energy into his hand to punch, to do like a close range attack. But yeah, I'm just looking up over here to see what I can see. Spirit Gun, could only fire it. Spirit energy into his finger, only a limited number of times per day. Spirit Shotgun, Spirit Gun Barrage, Spirit Wave. I don't remember him being able to do that, but that was something. Those are the ones that I really remember, primarily. I'm sure there was, right? And it's an anime, so the manga's gonna be different than the anime, than the movies, than these other things where he's gonna have abilities that he only ever had or only ever used in one of them. So, oh, Hiei was fire, my bad. But Born Among Ice Teams. Okay, so I had the general lore correct from what I recall. See, I like having Endless here in the chat. He's giving me all the information. Or they're giving me all the information. Trained it partly, and then you got the whole thing 2/3 of the way. That's what it was. Okay, so it did sound familiar to me, Spirit Wave. So basically what I say we're going to focus on when we're trying to build Yusuke is Spirit Gun, Spirit Shotgun, and maybe we'll even try to throw in Spirit Wave. So that's basically, and he's super fast, super strong, super aware, super endurance. So we're talking high dex, high strength, high con, and then whatever thing we're going to give the spirit-based abilities. So a couple things come to mind, right? Yusuke was primarily a brawler, so you could say monk, right? Because he's a brawler and he fights a lot. So I could say, you could do that. So you could go monk, you could go fighter, for extra attacks and have him focus on punching. But his primary, one of his primary things is the Spirit Gun. And that honestly translates the closest to me in my brain to Eldritch Blast. you know, Eldritch Blast being your Warlock-based weapon attack to kind of be your Spirit Gun. Although, the difference being, Spirit Gun was a limited time use, and Eldritch Blast is unlimited. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the closest thing to a lot of anime energy-based characters would be your Sun Soul Monk, where you can hurl the bolts of energy, which we could say. Yeah, so EB is unlimited, but he was getting multiple uses a day by the Dark Tournament, which is his level 12. So you could argue that. Yeah, exactly. What Warlock hasn't done finger guns when Eldritch Blasting? Absolutely. That's the staple, I feel like. When you don't know, it's like, Eldritch Blast. So maybe. So we could go Warlock. We could go Demon or Fiend Warlock, you could argue, right? Because of the sort of Demon infusion, which could cover some of the backstory stuff. But I guess we don't really dive too much into that in the Dark Tournament arc. And I don't really think of any other thing that really fits him as far as Warlock goes. He's not really Great Old One. He's not really Fey or Undying. Undying or Celestial. Huh, interesting. Yeah, there's no ranged smites in 5e, unfortunately. That would be a good thing if that did exist. Or there was a class that allowed you to do, or a subclass that allowed you to do ranged smiting in 5e. There is not, but that is a good way to put it. Because that's the problem when you're trying to build these characters. You look at a lot of this. So, I'd probably be more inclined to lean Celestial than Undying. Because Undying Patron is undead, basically. You know what? Let's start working through this a little bit. So we've got our ability scorers, our standard array: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. We're going to give him the 8 intelligence. And then we need to basically decide what we want to do as far as his, what's his spellcasting ability, if you will. Because if we could go Monk, right? So if we went Monk, here, let's go over here and look. If we went Monk, well, we'll just play around with it. So we may be going Celestial based on that. So if we went Monk, let's just look, right? So if you went Monk and you do your typical anime character route and you go Way of the Sun Soul, what that's going to get you is Radiant Sunbolt, which is whenever you take the attack action, you can throw bolts of energy, and you could do basically Flurry of Blows with those bolts of energy. Searing Arc Strike is Burning Hands, but it does not just Burning Hands for free as a bonus action. Well, key points to do it. And then at 11 is Searing Sunburst, which is your Orb of Energy, which is more like a Kamehameha than a Spirit Gun. So I'm gonna lean against Monk because of this is more, I feel, like a Z fighter than I feel Yusuke. As long as we give him a decent enough like strength and dex, you could make the argument that he could still punch people. He would only have one punch a turn, which would mean he'd be more reliant on things like Spirit Gun. We also could do something wonky and do like a hybrid, where we multi-class fighter and or Monk and Warlock, which would be a weird one. So let's drop. Yeah, let's drop Monk, and let's go look at Warlock. Because I don't. Oh, let's go down. Right, I don't see him as a barbarian, or a bard, or a cleric, or a druid. You could sort of make the cleric argument, but to your point from before, Ash, I'd say, or Ash Endless, I'd say paladin would be better than cleric. And like Ranger, no. Rogue, unless you're gonna try to flavor extra damage from like the spirit-based attacks as a sneak attack. But I think we're more on the Warlock side here. So if we went 12 in Warlock, our patron options here. Archfey, no. Great Old One, no. Undying, no. Hexblade, no. So it would really be the Fiend or the Great Old One, or sorry, the Fiend or the Celestial, but I think we're leaning more towards Celestial based on things. Yes, anime protagonist, dumb, indeed. So we're gonna get Light and Sacred Flame as bonus cantrips. We're gonna get a little bit of extra healing, which, as you mentioned, Spirit Wave can do healing. So we do have that in our Healing Light ability. We get to choose a Pact and a couple other things, so we can work on that. Radiant Soul here is whenever you deal fire or radiant, you have resistance to radiant damage, and whenever you do a spell that does radiant or fire damage, you add your charisma modifier to 1 radiant or damage spell roll. And then over here is you just get temp HP when you finish a short or long rest. So it might not be a bad idea to cut it earlier and do like an 8 and 4 or a 6 and 8 or 6 and 6 kind of a thing. To kind of give us a little bit of the bonus there. So we know we're going to go Warlock, so we're going to want to have a high Charisma. So we're going to put a 15 in Charisma, I think. Let's see here. Well, if we go Monk as a multi-class, well, we don't need Strength, really. So we could put, I don't know, 14 in Dex, 13 here, 12 here, 10 here. Average human strength. Then we go back to our race here. Take an ability score. Go ahead and we'll put 1 in Charisma. And put 1 in, what do we choose? Charisma, Wisdom. Okay. That'll give us those at least to evens. Yeah, make him an Astral Monk. Don't even get me started on the Astral Monk. Yeah, I mean, we may not go 6 and 6. We may do like 8 and 4. But I feel like 6 and 6, or maybe it's really, if it's not 8 and 4, then you're losing ability score improvements like crazy. Yes, so he will be absolutely multiple attribute dependent, 100%. But I feel you want 5 at least to be able to do the extra attacks. Though if you didn't get to 5 with 4, you could still, yeah, at level 4 you could still do 3 attacks with Flurry of Blows. The skills, we're gonna throw in Perception. Can we tweak any of these a little bit more? Let's see, that's gonna be 16. Let's see. I don't really see a whole lot more happening here, so let's go ahead and, you know what, let's make this a Dex bump, and we'll make this Observant Wisdom due to his superhuman awareness. I don't think we're at a feat to get Eldritch Blast at this point. Let's cut him back to 8 here. We'll start there, and we'll go 4 Monk, and we can always go the other way. What Monk would we pick? You could go Sun Soul again, but I feel like if we're gonna get that through Eldritch Blast, I don't think that makes a ton of sense. You could go Open Hand and just get for more of the knockback, or Long Death could kind of make some sense too. So let's get his proficiencies out of the way. Some warlock skills. Investigation. He is a spirit detective. And oops, that was not. That's supposed to be intimidation. Okay. So let's choose. We got some Eldritch Invocations to choose, and we got a Pact to choose. Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Chain, Pact of the Tome. So I don't. He's not a book learner, so we're not going to give him Pact of the Tome. I don't remember what happened with the egg. Did something hatch from the egg? I can't remember. The penguin. That's what it was. A penguin. Yes, yes, yes. Good. That's what I was thinking. That's where I was going. Now let's Agonizing Blast, obviously. Everybody chooses that. If we're going to be using Eldritch Blast as one of our moves here. I think Eldritch Sight, which was the Detect Magic at Will. I think that works. I'm thinking Repelling Blast, the one where you knock them back. I'm kind of leaning towards that one. I think that's a pretty good one. Knock him back 10 feet every time you hit him with Eldritch Blast. Yeah, so that's the closest way we can do that. So you know what? I'm going to stop here for now. And we'll decide on our 7th level option later, in case we decide we only want to do what's it called 6 levels in this. So we will still get our level 4 ability score improvement, which I think we're gonna just take in Charisma to boost our Eldritch Blasting. So in our monk, what monk option do we go? I don't feel like he's Way of the Shadow, or Drunken Master. If you go Way of the Long Death, which is still, I feel like, kind of undead focused, that gets you what? When you would, it's basically, you get temporary hit points when you knock a creature down to 0. So that's basically what Long Death Monk would get us. Sun Soul gets us to shoot bolts of, hurl bolts of energy. And then Open Hand gets us the couple options for knockback and things when we punch people. We can choose to, when we hit with Flurry of Blows, to succeed, make people succeed on a Dex save or be knocked prone, make Strength saving throw, be pushed 15 feet away, or they can't take reactions. I'm kind of leaning towards the Open Hand technique. I think that may be the better one for him. Okay. So the real question is, do we need to go past 4 for the monk? Do we do 6 and 6, or do we 8 and 4? Let's get some deflect missiles. We get 2 more ability score improvements, so we can put a 2 in Dex here. And that would still give us 1 more ability over here, and some extra damage on our radiant attacks and our fire-based attacks, which we'll have to just make sure we choose some of. And that would give us 1 more pact option, which we could choose. Let's see. Devil's Sight lets us see in magical darkness. Eldritch Spear gives us extra distance. Its range is 300 feet. Maybe that. Grasp of Dark pulls him closer, but his attacks don't do that. This one do? Lance of Lethargy. Boost your movement speed. Relentless Hex, is that a Hexblade one? Yeah, no, that's a Hexblade. Whoa, we got a raid incoming. What's going on, raiders? Hello. Welcome to our It Builds character. Let's get the music a little more upbeat for the raid here. Dreadful word. Yeah, that's. I mean, you can make that argument. You know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of other things that really jump out at me. I don't think he could see through walls, right? Ghostly gaze. It's okay. I don't think the other people understood what was going on with the rage either, from the looks of it. But we'll see what happens. A raid is, you know, when a bunch of other people come from another stream to jump into your stream and, like, get hyped, basically. But yeah, we're anticipating the raiders. We'll see. I feel like we're just gonna give him... Eldritch Spear. And just give him his Eldritch... We're just gonna trick out Spirit Gun. I think that's just what we're gonna do. Extra range, extra damage, extra knockback. Hello, Winston. You are here in the chat commenting, so welcome. And then we'll get one extra ability score improvement. We'll bump that charisma up 2 more. And that is that for our features. So let's jump into our ability scores. We'll do our background. Yeah, we love Raiders. We are a big fan. So I feel like, isn't there an investigator one? Something? City Watch / investigator. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Guess we only have options for athletics. Kind of weird. Alright, we're not going to worry about languages and equipment. Yeah, we'll deal with equipment when we get there. Let's go see what we've got right now. So, right here we can see we've got... Ooh, how did we get an uneven dexterity? Did I miss a decision on that? Let's go check. What do we make his dexterity to start? We made it 14. Gave him a +1. Yeah, I know. I hate 17s in stats. It may just have to be 17, though. We don't have any way to change that. So that's just gonna be... You know what? Yusuke is nothing if not totally unoptimized in some aspects. So, he's a little bit faster in our 40-foot movement speed. I mean, we could have bumped the dexterity by 1 and then not, you know, bumped the charisma up to 20, but we were going more for the spirit gun means of attacks. Got athletics, insight, intimidation, investigation, and perception. Oh, is there a different investigator? Let's go look. Let's go see. I'll take your word for it. Did I miss it on the way down the list here? What investigator was that? Let's see. No? Cool. I mean, we could always do this, right? We could do, where is it? Whoa, hi. Get out of there, D&D Beyond. You can always do this thing where you can go, what does this give us? You can easily find a local outpost here. Watch this. Go here, custom background, configure. Background feature, criminal / spy, characteristics, City Watch investigator. We'll go 2 skills, 2 languages, call it, here, we'll go Insight. We could go with Athletics. And now, we have a criminal contact and all the same information. We'll just go here and we'll call it Spirit Detective. Spirit Detective. There we go. What's going on? 20 sides to every story. We are building an anime character in 5th edition. Good old Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. So let's see. We are going to have to choose some spells, which is going to be kind of how we're going to try to make up some of the abilities. So here's our stats. A little bit more movement speed. Moderate AC. I mean, he wasn't exactly Mr. Defensive, so I'm okay with the 15 AC. Yep. So we're not really going to worry. We'll deal with equipment on a later section here. So we've got Light, Sacred Flame, Find Familiar, Detect Magic. Well, we obviously need to go choose Eldritch Blast, because we built everything around Eldritch Blast. There we go. So that chooses. You're going to see a lot of other... he had a couple pieces of equipment. Didn't he have like a ring that boosted his spirit energy, I thought? And like something that let him see stuff, like a spirit, like an energy meter or some special glasses or something. I thought I recalled. Okay. Let's jump down here. Let's get into our other spells here. What are we gonna get? We gotta do Shotgun. We gotta get Spirit Gun. What can we get here? Let us look here. Huh. I have a ton of Radiant or Fire options here, as per typical. I think the only Radiant attack we can really truly get is Sickening Radiance, so we'll throw it on there, but... Oh, Guiding Bolts. That's Radiant. That works very well for what we're trying to do here. I feel like I want to give him Misty Step or Dimension Door. Okay, so we won't worry about his we won't worry about any of his items then. Charm Monster, Boulder, Speedy Courier, Guardian of Faith. Guardian of Faith is just a yeah, let's stay still. Yeah, we don't have a ton of options here for Mr. Yusuke as far as what we could do here. Doom Guy, Guts, or Yusuke. I mean, so Guts just has a lot going for him as far as strength and things go, but Yusuke's got ranged. So like maybe, you know, you gotta, where are you starting in relation to these demons? Maybe if you've got range, you know, Yusuke's got a pretty big advantage if you gotta cover a lot of ground to get there. Okay. Let's keep going here. What do we got for Mr. Yusuke? We're gonna give him Hex. He's a Warlock. I don't really have a better decision for that. Yeah. We need something to sort of replicate Shotgun. So I'm kind of leaning towards Shatter. Just because it's a big area of effect. Not a huge area of effect, but it's an area of effect attack. Unfortunately, he doesn't have access to Fireball, which would be the ideal one to replicate that. And I feel like we gotta get like some sort of teleportation, because he's pretty quick. So, Shadow Moil is just, if I recall, you've seen, yeah, got Shadow Moil. Alright, so we're gonna go with Misty Step. Only Fiend Pack Warlocks get Fireball. So Mirror Image and Misty Step to replicate some of the kind of after effect of disappearing super fast moves. Could go, hold on, how many spells do we have? 3 spells left. Cloud of Daggers, sure, we could throw Cloud of Daggers in there. Trying to get you some AoE, you know, kind of attacks. Warlocks don't have a ton. Although you do get 4d4 for Cloud of Daggers versus 3d8, and Cloud of Daggers is... I'm gonna go against Cloud of Daggers because that's a 5-foot cube, and Shatter is a 10-foot radius sphere, so you're gonna get a lot more area with Shatter. Plus, it's just like high vibrations, and then stuff is destroyed. So I feel like that's more the way the function of the shotgun works. Man, we could go like remove curse maybe for some of the healing stuff that he has going on. There's really not a lot of options, unfortunately. I'm gonna go with remove curse. Throw it out there as an option. See, we did say he does have some sort of like healing style stuff. We'll give him lesser restoration too. It's from he can't learn haste. That's not an option. And he could learn expeditious retreat. So it's dash as a bonus action. Get some extra movement that way. Although he can just use Step of the Wind, as he does have monk levels, to get the dash as a bonus action that way. Yeah, we could just give him Cure Wounds. There. Got some healing. I'm okay with this. So we didn't actually choose any other cantrips. We've got Light, Eldritch Blast, Sacred Flame, and then nothing else. I'm gonna put Friends in here, but mostly because I would say he'd be more casting it unknowingly, because he always pisses people off. And then, where is it? Word of Radiance is a... Oh, he doesn't learn that one, damn. Because I was gonna say, Word of Radiance is an AoE cantrip that does radiant damage. I don't know. Mage Hand? But let's keep... Well, we'll look. We got Eldritch Blast. We got all of our boosts from Eldritch Blast here. Friends, Light, Sacred Flame, Detect Magic at will. And then our spells we have Cure Wounds, Find Familiar, Guiding Bolt, Hex, Lesser Restoration, Mirror Image, Misty Step, Remove Curse, Shatter, Sickening Radiance. Those are our sort of abilities. As we discussed, he doesn't really have much in the way of, what's it called? Equipment, but he did have the Spiritual Shooting Ring, I think it was what it was called. So we're going to go here, we're going to get a Rod of the Pact Keeper, and we're just going to reskin it. Rod of the Pact Keeper. I think it was just pretty low level, so we're going to just go with a Rod of the Pact Keeper +1. Equip it, tune it, go here, customize it, call it a Ring of Spiritual Shooting. Spiritual Shooting. And there we go. Now we've got his spells, we got him his one piece of equipment that does actually end up boosting stuff for him. So you can see his Eldritch Blast is pretty nasty, which we're kind of... oh! Ha ha ha! Here we go. Spirit Gun. Look at that. Bam! Now it's called Spirit Gun. We go down here to Shatter. And we can go here, and we can rename Shatter Shotgun. Look at that. Now we're getting thematic. Let's see here. We could rename, like, Cure Wounds Spirit Wave, but you get the point. We kind of got the main key factors in here. So Endless, I see your comment in the chat here. Maybe give him some protection items. as well, like bracers of armor, boost his AC. So I often struggle with that when I do these kind of character builds of like, at what point do I like start boosting a character up, just because I feel like they should have things, or do I stop because, you know, am I giving them things just to give them things? I don't think his clothes had any special capabilities. I think he just had clothes. Like, he just had his little green schoolboy smock thing. I actually have no idea what you call that outfit, but he just had like his little green suit that he wore. And it wasn't anything super crazy. So I don't believe so. I think that's probably it, honestly. He's got a really high passive perception to deal with superhuman awareness. Resistance to radiant damage. His couple of radiant attacks here will get some boosted in the damage here. As will his Sacred Flame ability here. You could go give him... Can he get Firebolt? Can't get Firebolt, man. Warlocks, they get shafted on spell choice. Not only do they not get no spells, but they get shafted on what they can choose too. Especially given the fact that you can get fire or radiant damage boosts and they barely give you any fire attacks. They give you Flaming Sphere. Hellish Rebuke. Awful. It's just tragic. So let's look at his abilities here. So we've got Dex plus Wisdom plus 10. So, you know, eventually he'll be able to boost this up here, his Dexterity, and that'll make this jump up to 16. He's got 4 key points, which he can use to do Flurry of Blows, to do Patient Defense, to take the Dodge action as a bonus action, or Step of the Wind to take the Disengage or Dodge action, or Dash action rather, as a bonus action. And also triple his jump distance, or double his jump distance. Increased movement speed, so he's got 40-foot movement speed. He can deflect missiles. He's got the open hand technique. When he hits with Flurry of Blows, they have to make a DC 14 Dex save, or do one of the following techniques: knocked prone, knocked back, or can't take reactions. Slow fall to slightly reduce the damage he gets when he falls down by 20. And then he's got his Pact Magic from being a Warlock here. He's got Light and Sacred Flame. He's got Healing Light, so he can get a healing pool of 96 healing that he can do out to 60 feet, which we're calling kind of basically Spirit Wave. He's got extra damage, range, and knockback on his Eldritch Blast or Spirit Gun. He has Detect Magic at will to kind of sense demons' presence, if you will. He's got the Pact of the Chain for his little penguin spirit that he hatched from an egg. And whenever he has resistance to radiant damage, and whenever he does radiant or fire damage, he adds extra damage to it. And he is also Observant, which is how we got the boosted passive perception. And he's not too bad. You know, he's decently strong with his HP. So what I would do were I to continue Yusuke down this path, I would probably just continue going in Warlock, would be my guess. And then eventually I would try to get this Dex up a little bit higher, so it'll boost your AC, and, you know, it'll give you some other benefits to your unarmed strike attacks, which are currently a D4 plus 3. That will go up. I mean, you can see other things here, right? Like, so Guiding Bolt, if he fires a Guiding Bolt, it does 7d6 damage. His Shatter, which we're calling Shotgun, does 5d8 damage. You know, Cure Wounds, he could do some serious curing with the Cure Wounds spell. Sickening Radiance, 4d10 in a sphere area. He's got some movement options, some healing options. If you choose to do Hex, that could give you some bonus there as well. So he's got some decent, you know, utility, and you know, again, as I say with every anime character that I ever build, if you were to build this in your own campaign to try to make Yusuke your character, and you roll stats and you roll better than standard array, then you're already closer on your way to getting the character more to what he would be. You could go really nuts and go for like Spell Sniper, the feat, and boost out your Spirit Gun to 600 feet, I think is what it would be. So you could be picking people off 600 feet away with Eldritch Blasts. That'd be pretty bananas. Ignoring cover with your Spirit Gun. You could just take the tough feat, right, to replicate the fact that he's pretty supernaturally strong. You could take the athlete feat with a +1 dex to get him to 18 dexterity, and that would give you, that'd give you more Yusuke style stuff, right? Stand up from prone faster, climbing doesn't reduce your movement speed at all, and you've got that. You can take mobile as well, get yourself some more movement speed and no opportunity attacks when you attack someone. That's a decent, option for you as well. Yeah, I mean, I'd say those are all pretty good options to try to boost up him in the future. That's how I would really kind of take things down the road with Yusuke. The Arcane Archer from the campaign I just finished playing on Sunday feels even less relevant. Listen, they had a really good chance to make Arcane Archer really good, and I feel they really dropped the ball on it pretty hardcore. I feel like one of the iterations of Arcane Archer in one of the Unearthed Arcana was very good, and I think the one that they finally ended up publishing felt a little lackluster. And I may actually start doing a series where a couple different series on YouTube that I'm thinking about doing. I'll have to come up with a clever name for it, but basically where I go back and fix the classes that I think are wrong or broken. So for instance, Arcane Archer, the simple way that I would fix Arcane Archer is you get uses of your arrows intelligence modifier times per short rest. It's a really simple fix, but I think that makes you choose to put points in intelligence, and yeah. Oh, that'll do that. But yeah, that's how I would fix Arcane Archer. Intelligence modifier, number uses of arrows, intelligence modifier times per short rest, rather than just a flat 2. It gives you the opportunity to look for other items, boost your intelligence, I think that kind of does a good job, and it fits more of the Arcane Archer archetype that I have in my mind from earlier editions. I've gotten a lot of feedback about trying to fix the 2 broken recent Unearthed Arcana releases, so I have some thoughts on that. But I also have thought about going back and looking at old versions of Unearthed Arcana and see how things were better or worse, and possibly fixing those, or looking to discuss why they are the way they are. 5d6 once per day firewall items. I had 2 in action stars. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. So I'll see. I have so many other pieces of content that I need to work on, that I'm trying to put out, whether it's stuff on our secondary channel or things like that. I should also do this here in the chat. IBC. So if I go here, start the music over here. If you go, get out of here. If you go to this file, you can see what we're building and what I have built in the past. I do have to update some things and upload some things. So we did have, this is all black. We can go here and fill that. That's black. These are also black. But you can see we built Doctor Strange. We built Corvo from Dishonored recently. We built Samson, the biblical hero. And then I recently showed off. I just released on YouTube Mr. Wednesday, a build I did exclusively at Gen Con with Jordan of Forgotten Realms Explained. We built Mr. Wednesday together. That video just hit YouTube. Last week I built Wargreymon, the Digimon. I'll be working on that and uploading that sometime this week, maybe this weekend. I'm trying to build a bunch of content out for next week, since unfortunately Well, fortunately, but unfortunately, I will be having the baby on Monday, next Monday. So while I'm busy dealing with the new fatherhood for a second time around, I will not be making any videos. Thank you so much, Endless. I really do appreciate it. So I'm going to try my best to work up enough content this week so that next week I can have a piece of content come out scheduled on the YouTube every day so that I can focus on being a dad and working on, you know, kitchen renovations and all that, but the videos will still continue to come out as normal. I did this last time when my son Wesley was born. I did it with our Curse of Strahd content, so I'm hoping to do that this time around, but with more, you know, more D&D videos. Because the ones that seem to do the best as of late are like my discussion videos, or my ranty videos, or my just news coverage videos, which is how I did a lot of, you know, stuff for the channel back in the day. Yeah, Wesley Summoner. Well, it's Wesley, and then we'll have, yes, the Summoner of Dragons in the Homebrew campaign. And we'll see if Bruce has any plans for the future. But you can see, I actually need to change this because there will not be this stream. Will not be next week here. So let's go ahead and cut these. And we'll move them down here. So we'll go ahead and put that in here so we don't have any confusion about that. Merge. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna center it. There we go. Hold. There we go. So then, I guess when I come back on the 4th, I'm doing Elder God Demonbane, which I actually have no idea what that's from. So, that'll be fun. We'll see. Then we're doing some Sword Art Online. We got some video games in here. Predator, Cloud, Devil May Cry, Sasuke from Naruto, Batman, Bayonetta, Pac-Man. But we're already into March of next year. Actually, we're into April of next year. So that's always fun. Yeah. So I plan to keep doing this as long as you guys keep throwing out suggestions. And I will go in and put the links in here. And then again, I will always, as I usually do, which I have to catch up on here, I have this where I have all the character sheets right here for everything I've ever built. I think I have up to Samson, so I have to drop Mr. Wednesday, Wargreymon, and now Yusuke in the folder if you'd like to go pick up a copy of one of these character sheets for yourself if you're looking to use an NPC in one of your campaigns. Yes, today we are 69-420 from 4/20/2069. I mean, really, what a wonderful day today is. The sexiest of days. But yeah, you can see I just exported the character sheet from D&D Beyond, and everything is all nicely printed. So if you wanted to have Yusuke in your game, whether to be as a character for you to play, or as an NPC, or an enemy for your party to face, it's super easy to do so. So I try to do that for you guys as well. We are also getting closer and closer to 3,000 followers here on Twitch. When we hit 3,000, we will be having Celine run a game for us, which will be very fun. We're dubbing it Celine Game, and we'll see what happens. Characters are pretty much almost all done and ready to go. You got a lot of interesting characters to look forward to in that campaign. So yeah, if you choose to do so, and haven't subscribed or followed to the channel already, follow the channel. And then we're also planning to possibly do some more It Builds character fight videos. We did a Civil War where we did Captain America versus Iron Man, and I'm planning to do an It Builds character Redux, where I rebuild Iron Man with the published version of the Artificer that comes out in the Eberron book. And then we'll do a Civil War Redux, where we have new version of Iron Man fight the original version of Captain America. And then, yeah, maybe we'll do a... it lasted 4 turns. Yeah, it did not last very long. Because Captain America just action surged and just beat Iron Man into the dirt. And then we can do our Belmont versus Alucard fight. Eventually, when we build Cloud, we can do a Cloud versus Sephiroth fight. We could do, eventually, if we have enough of the right characters, a Super Smash Brothers fight, where people are all characters that are in Smash Bros. And maybe a one-shot where people get to pick one of the characters from here, and we just see how, you know, everybody picks a character from It Builds character, and we just go forth and do crazy things. So yeah, that I think is it for me, guys. This has been a crazy fun time. Thank you for taking a walk down anime memory lane with me as we built Mr. Yusuke here.